Hello, everyone. Today, I'm very excited about our next interview from the ToolSense interview series workshop talks. I'm Jennifer, and I'm responsible for the communication at ToolSense. And our guest today is Junya Nakao, Sales Manager and Digital Marketing Manager at MORITO Europe. And then I would like to introduce Julia Kota, Customer Success Manager of ToolSense. Mr. Nakao, perhaps you could tell us a few sentences about yourself and MORITO Europe Apparel, like where you're based, how many employees do you have, and what your daily business looks like.
Okay. My name is Junya. I'm a sales manager and head of technical support of MORITO Europe. MORITO is an apparel trim company. We're manufacturing apparel small components for all the global customers. MORITO Europe itself is a branch office of MORITO headquarters. So we have now 12 people here in the MORITO Europe, whereas MORITO headquarters employ around 1,400 people across the group.
Thank you very much for these insights. What I'm also very much interested in is your connection to and discovery of ToolSense. How did you first get in touch with ToolSense?
Well, basically, first we were trying to digitize our asset management, and I was browsing the website. And I came to the ToolSense, and I tried a few platforms. But the ToolSense was the fastest one, as well as the most customer service-oriented one. So we decided to carry on with the test. And then the test went quite well, thanks to Julia and the other support. Then eventually we decided to actually do the 6-month trial.
Great, thank you. And Mr. Nakao, prior to the discovery of ToolSense, how did you work in asset and maintenance management, and what were your operational challenges?
Well, the biggest challenge was, of course, managing these assets. So our machines to attach buttons are installed across the globe. And it's around probably 500, 600 assets. And we have 250 assets under MORITO Europe. The biggest challenge was all the asset management have not been up to date. And all the assets are basically on the paper documents. In order to follow through these assets, we don't know really the locations of these assets on a paper base, but with ToolSense, we have been able to actually follow all the assets through the ToolSense platform. This definitely reduces a lot of time of our asset management, as well as updating locations and also problem reports, etc. So that's been very helpful, and we for sure reduce a lot of time waste compared to the documented base management.
Thank you. Very interesting. So you already answered a little bit of my next question, but why did you decide for partner with ToolSense? Where do you see the added value that ToolSense can bring, and how do you see the support and customer success efforts at ToolSense?
Well, first of all, we have been able to cut a lot of communication lines. Let's say, for example, before we had 3 lines from the factory, our sales representative, and our technical team. But now with ToolSense, with the translation, especially the function, we have been able to cut this middleman so that the communication has become really smooth without any information distortion. That's very good, one thing. And the second thing is also Julia follows every 2 weeks for the technical issues or some, let's say, additional services we would like to implement. And these implementations have been very successful thanks to this support. So I really appreciate this bi-weekly support. And for us, like traditional company, we have been in the business for 120 years almost. And the system is still kind of a legendary legacy type of system, but Julia brought another level of, let's say, asset management. So I really appreciate that effort and the support.
Thank you very much. We're really glad to hear this. And what is your vision for the partnership between MORITO Europe Apparel and ToolSense?
Well, ultimately, right now we have been using it only among our group, but we'd like to spread that to the customers as well. So the customers will be able to manage all the problem reports, etc., in the same level as us. But in the end, this would bring the efficiency to the next level. not only the communication level, but also the daily routine maintenance, as well as the problem solving sessions, etc. So definitely we are trying to expand your service, not only across the group, but also to the customer side.
Thank you. And what are the situations and use cases in which ToolSense now helps you in your operations? I mean, you already named a lot, but how do you save time and money with ToolSense?
Yes, the biggest one is, I would say, the ticket service. So what this does is basically we can receive a report directly from the factories. This reduced a lot of time in communication, and also miscommunications can be avoided because of the, let's say, multi-language functions. Because before, what we were doing was we receive, let's say, a report from French, from factory in French, and our French rep translate this report to English, and we receive it in English. But now we don't have to do this translation, manual translation, but the ToolSense itself can function as a translator as well as a communicator. So we can reduce one layer, and communication became really smooth.
Awesome. This already sounds really helpful. And where do you see the status quo of digitalization in the manufacturing industry? And yeah, what do you think will maybe change within the next 10 years?
I already talked about this digitization with the top management, and you know what the top management is doing is to manage the assets, is they put the tapes with the serial numbers of these assets, and this is where we are now. Instead of just putting QR code and manage the assets digitally on the platform, they're doing it still manually, and they think still this one is already advanced. The taping labeling is already advanced, but we are far from that as an industry, and I see that across competitors and customers as well. They're managing these assets still manually. But in the coming 10 years, if we can become a pioneer of this digitization with ToolSense, across the group, we can start digitization, and also this will influence on our customers.
Interesting. I like this idea. And maybe directing the question to Julia, would you like to add anything here? Any thoughts, any questions?
Maybe one topic that I would bring in, or a question. Junya, is there any advice that you can share on how to spread a software like ToolSense to other parts of a company, especially in traditional industries like yours?
Yes, the best thing I liked about ToolSense was the hands-on approach. Like mentioned, we had the first follow-ups probably every 2 days or every 1 week, etc. That was quite frequent to me. And for me, if that happened only twice a month in the beginning of stage, I was probably reluctant to convince to the management team. But you follow through quite well, that convinced me. And you show the demo. That really helped me to visualize what's going to happen. And it's quite simple, actually. Instead of when it comes to online platforms, people think about coding or some reporting, etc. But ToolSense as a whole is very simple, but still functions very well in a significant level. That helped me to basically follow through. Is the probably most effective way to convince these traditional customers.
Great. Thank you very much. Then we already reached the end. Thank you very much for this exciting exchange. I was very pleased that you, Mr. Nakao, were here today, and perhaps we will hear from each other again very soon.
Thank you very much for having me.